Alright y'all, it has been a hot minute, and can you see my somewhat dirty closet? I don't think you can. Anyways, let me explain what we're doing today. Okay, so my friends, finally decided to try a fitness watch. I think just recently I've been thinking here and there, like as I'm training, like, oh my god, it would be so useful to have a fitness watch. And I've been really into steps as well for some reason, just because I'm really into the idea of moving throughout the day, okay? And I really want to commit to that idea. While my phone is somewhat adequate at counting steps, it's not very accurate. And I've gotten to the point where I want something that's accurate, or I've been curious enough about it that I want to try something out. Now, I wasn't quite sure if a fitness watch was for me. I'm personally very vehemently against the idea of a smart watch. I just hate the idea of having to be connected 24/7. Like, that was not what I was looking for. I wanted something that was good for swimming, something that was good for like cardio, had, you know, different metrics that I could play around with and see if I liked having a fitness watch. You know, I wasn't sure. Anyways, so then I invested in a Garmin Vivosmart 3. I'll talk about this more later in this video, about why this one, where I got it, how I made a decision, and all that jazz. But for now, it's literally 2:30. I still haven't put this on because, one, I woke up late. Shenanigans from yesterday carried over, and I had a kind of a wild night. Anyways, so I haven't put this on because when I woke up, I was gonna put cream on, and that's my first kind of qualm. Is that the word? Quarrel? I'm not sure what I'm looking for. That's my first kind of big, like, thing I don't like about this, is because of my skin stuff, I like to wait for my skin to dry before I put anything that kind of touches my skin on. It just feels so weird and yucky. Anyway, so then I had to wait a bit to put my watch on, but then I started making my bed, and then I got distracted talking to my sister about some stuff. Anyways, and then I sat down to code a bit, which I'll get into. I have to do more later on in the day. And so now I'm finally putting it on. I've probably missed about 700k steps, whatever. Here's the watch though. I'm putting it on. I need to run out to get some eggs because I'm starving at this point. I still haven't had my first meal. I've kind of shifted around my window of eating, and I'm trying to play around with if I want a smaller eating window, or, you know, different times only and still eat 6 hours a day. Maybe even do OMAD. I'm not sure. I'm just playing around with it. Anyways, starving now. Need to go grab eggs. So I'm putting this on, and we'll see how it performs during the day. I also want a box today, and I'm really curious about what it's going to be like wrapping hand wraps around this. So we'll see. Is this even on? It is. It's so dim. Oh mon dieu. Oh mon dieu. English and French. Oh mon dieu. Interesting. You know, I liked the dimness yesterday, but this is quite dim for during the day. Like, very... I'm not sure. We shall see. Anyways, let's get to it. Alright, y'all. I completely forgot to film. Anyways, what did I do? I went and grabbed eggs because your girl cannot live without eggs, and I needed eggs for my first meal. Okay, I needed eggs. So I got eggs, had breakfast, or first meal. It doesn't feel right to call a meal that you have at 3:30 p.m. breakfast, okay? Anyways, okay, so I did that, prayed, and I just sat down and started coding. I've kind of been doing that since then, you know, intermittently playing with my niece, walking up and down the stairs, getting water or whatever. I took a break recently because I was hungry. My parents are coming back from a trip tonight, and I'm gonna eat with them. So I'm doing something to kind of curb hunger now, so I'm not hangry later. But let's talk about the watch, okay? Now, surprisingly, I've personally really liked it, but there's a few issues, if you will. Now, issue number one, it's quite dim. Now, I knew this buying it. I knew that a lot of people complained about the dimness, and you can probably hear that I'm slightly sick. Last night when I opened it and connected it to my phone, I appreciated the dimness. I actually really like how it's dim and not in your face, except throughout the day when there was daylight, it was so dim that I had to like cup and look. And even now, like I can't see, it's like very, very dim, and then I have to cup my hand and then see, which honestly, like, how much am I looking at my watch? Not that much. Periodically when I want to see, oh, how many steps am I at, or, you know, if I randomly want to check, sure, but I'm just doing that because it's a new thing that I'm trying out. I don't see myself doing that often, so maybe it's not the biggest issue, but I don't hate it and I don't love it. It's just something I have to deal with. With that said, I do feel a little bit like, I don't know, I don't think my skin loves it. It doesn't hate it yet. One of the things I was concerned about is because of the nickel, or not the nickel, but the metal contacts from the watch from underneath the top part, as well as this bit here, I thought my skin would get irritated. It hasn't necessarily shown a reaction yet. It feels weird. Like when I put on the watch in the morning, I could feel that there was something there and my skin didn't love it. But I don't see like any reactions yet, at least. And I say yet because allergic reactions can build over time. Meaning if I wear it enough, then my skin will react to it. And because I'm so ridiculously scared of nickel, I'm just holding my breath. But we'll see. For now, that's the only thing that bothers me is the dimness, and also like the metal contact. My skin just doesn't love it. Like it's just like, even just this part here, can you see that? That metal part, that clasp? I don't like it because I have some eczema over here on my wrist. It's not necessarily active, but it's enough that like I feel the watch. Maybe it's just the fact that it's a different routine and I'm trying to see if I like this new product in my routine. Maybe that's why I'm kind of being, you know, annoyed by all of this, but we'll see, because I'm gonna finish snacking on some dal. It looks like a huge container, but there's just a little bit in it. And I'm gonna try to code or do a little bit more commenting, pray, and then we're gonna get to some MMA real soon. I'm really excited. Really want to try out how this will behave kind of while I'm training, especially with the hand wraps. That's the one thing I've been thinking about, is how would I wear a fitness watch with hand wraps? So we are going to see. Let's go and do all of that. I'm excited. Okay, my niece has totally just ruined my beautiful hand wrap, but that's okay. We're gonna unwrap them anyways. I realized that my watch was on auto brightness, so it would get really dim. I was so confused as to like why it was so dim, and then I was like, wait, maybe it's on auto, and it was on auto. Thought I fixed that last night, but I guess not. So just fix that. Let's see if the dimness is not as much of a problem. Now, with that said, let's get wrapping. Why is this so difficult? Let me put this up. Okay, let's talk about why I chose this watch. And the answer is pretty simple. And that is that I was getting it for a super good deal. And because I wasn't sure if a fitness watch was for me, I really just wanted something to try out. I didn't want to invest too heavily into something I wasn't sure if I was actually going to use, but I was very curious about and couldn't get off my mind. You know, it was that type of situation. So I found this on Facebook Marketplace for a very good price, and I was like, you know what, that makes sense. And this always happens to me. I really, 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 really hate this. No matter how much times I wrap this, the strap always comes on the inside, and I never know what on earth to do. Like, I always have to twist the outside part, but it infuriates me. I don't know how to get it straight on without being like super meticulous. Like, I don't want to spend that much time wrapping my hands. And this also feels very beefy. I'm gonna redo this. All right, I ended up just wrapping up around the smartwatch. So let's see how that goes. And then this one actually got wrapped properly. I don't know if you can see that, but I was actually able to get the strap on the right side for once, which was very nice. So let's get boxing, or MMA. I always say boxing, I mean MMA. It's just easier to say, okay? People relate to it more. Can you see me? Yes, you can. And you can see my makeshift weights here as I try to find more weights. Anyways, let me stop the timer. There we go. Oh, that's super cool. Okay, so just save the activity. I've noticed that the double tap act gestures or features are much more finicky. So starting and stopping the timer, or, you know, if I have my wrist up and it turns off, then double tapping to turn the screen on again. I've noticed that that's pretty finicky. But it says that I worked out, oh my god, come on, for an hour, which makes sense, I think. And then average heart rate 150, steps, I got in 4,000 steps, and it says that I burned 559 calories. I don't know how much I trust the calorie stuff, because that's, well, I mean, Garmin's pretty accurate, but then again, grain of salt, right? Grain of salt. I'm more so curious about my VO2, but I'll look at that after. Apparently that's a metric. Apparently the more oxygen your body can hold over time as you train indicates your fitness level improving. So I'm curious about seeing how that, I'm curious about seeing that data over time. But that was pretty cool. That was a solid workout. Let me put it that way. Super good workout. My core is gassed. The Muay Thai track at the end, and then the core track at the end. Oh my god, by the time I was at the core track, I was like, you know what? I am so done. Like, I have literally zero energy left in me, but I want to finish strong, so I did the much easier versions of all the core exercises, but I still got it in. That's what matters. Did I like this? Yeah, I did, actually. I really liked just, like, having this there, because now I'm not, like, now over time, I can see how my training sessions improve for, say, given activities. I'm like, oh, that's Muay Thai. Oh, that's this. Like, how is my cardio improving? All that jazz. So that was successful. Really liked it for training. I'm not sure yet how I feel about wearing this just, like, full time. Okay? And oh my god, it's so sweaty. Ugh. This is so ridiculously sweaty too. But yeah, I like that overall. I'm also gonna, you know, carry on with the rest of my day as normal. There's not many updates to give there, but I am going to try to wear this at night, because it does track your sleep and gives you sleep metrics. So I'm going to see what data it tracks, and also if I like it or not. I honestly personally can't imagine wearing something on my wrist at night. Just one more thing to wake me up. My sleep is not the greatest. But I mean, we can try it out. Do I look like a mess? I just noticed this. Yes, I do look like a mess. But hey, great session. I was planning to do some combo training afterwards, because that was cardio MMA, but I'm so gassed. I just don't have it in me. When I do strength training, I'll just do the combo work as well. Anyways, that's that. I believe the next time I'm gonna film is tomorrow morning after I get the sleep data. So see you then. Alright, y'all. The morning has come and gone. It is the next day. I'm sitting down to do some work, and I thought I'd wrap up this video before starting. So let's get into it. Sleep-wise, let's look at the sleep metrics. I thought there was a particular sleep mode, so when I woke up, I thought I'd forgotten about it, and I would have to do this all over again tonight, but that is incorrect because it automatically tracks your sleep. So let's talk about it. According to this fitness watch, oh, it's ridiculous, I slept 11 hours and 4 minutes, and let me tell you right off the bat that that is not true. That is not true. But here we go. Deep sleep, 23 minutes. Light sleep, approximately 7 hours. REM, approximately 4 hours. Awake, 12 minutes. Now, let's think about this, okay? Let's think about this. So, got into bed about 1:30. I'm not proud of these times. Do not. My routine is super messed up right now. So I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it, but last night, this is what happened. Got into bed 1:30, slept around somewhere 2:30 to 3 a.m. I was reading, okay? So let's say 2:30 a.m. I go to bed, like actually shut off everything, try to sleep. Get up at around 12:30 a.m. and then I start drifting in and out because I wanted to get up. My goal was to get up at 10:30. But my body just ached so much that I needed to just let myself drift in and out and get up when my body felt like it. Anyways, so that was around 12:30 p.m. And then I stayed in bed until 1:30 p.m. reading. Okay, actually no. Maybe I stayed in bed till 1 p.m. reading. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I stayed in bed till 1 p.m. reading. Or it was 1:30. Let's say 1:30 to be safe. Okay, so let's do the math. Let's say the correct time, let's say, okay, including the drifting in and out, would be 2:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., which is 10-ish hours, okay? Now, if the Garmin started thinking I was asleep or trying to go to sleep at 1:30 a.m., which is when I got into bed and started reading, then it makes sense that it would, what's the right word? It would calculate that I slept, or yeah, it would calculate that I had slept for 11 hours. So, not very accurate. If you're a reader like me, I read almost every single night. It is a long-standing tradition, so maybe the sleep times won't be very accurate for me, but I can take that into consideration because at least the deep and the REM times are fairly accurate. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt. Now, with that said, what was it like sleeping with the watch on my hand? And I'm just seeing if there's actually additional. Yes, you know, here I am making assumptions of when it started considering I had gone to sleep and when I woke up, and it's telling me right here. It thought I went to sleep at 1:33, which I can tell you 100% for sure that that is not true. I looked at the time before putting my phone down, and it was between 2:30 to 3 a.m. I can't remember the exact time that I put my phone down, but I know the last time I checked the time on my phone, it was 2:30 something a.m. Anyways, so there's that, and it says that I got up at 12:48 a.m. p.m. 12:48 p.m., which is accurate, right around 12:30ish. Let's talk about what it was like sleeping with my watch on. I personally did not love it. I didn't feel it, but when I got up, it just felt yucky. I'm not very used to having stuff on my skin. I don't like wearing jewelry, especially after going through a bunch of skin issues. I'm just not used to wearing stuff and keeping stuff that I put on my skin very minimal. So having this on my wrist felt very foreign, not to mention that I had it done pretty tight. So when I got up, there were indentations on my wrist because it was just done so tightly, and a little bit of bruising as well. So take that with what you will. I didn't love it. I love the metrics though. That's gonna be useful for me because I have terrible sleep quality. So maybe I will wear this at night. The only problem is now, since I started wearing it yesterday, the only time I've taken it off was this morning to put on my cream. And I hate this, like, maybe it's just because I'm not used to it, but I hate having something on me 24/7 that's not, you know, actually part of my body. Maybe I'm not sure. It really depends on what I'm looking for, but I do know for a fact that my wrist needs a break, and because I'm sitting down to work, I'm not gonna miss that many steps if I get up to go to the washroom or something, so I'm gonna take it off for now. My wrist needs to breathe. It needs to breathe. If you guys have tips on this, please tell me how to manage that, because I love the metrics, I love the data. Oh, the data. But I hate the feeling of having something on my wrist. Maybe I'll put it on my ankle. How about that? Anywho, that's my overall initial review of this fitness watch. I'm going to obviously use it in different ways, for different training styles. So I'm curious about how it's gonna say do in yoga versus say running, where there's like a specific running mode for running, versus say Pilates or strength training. There's a rep counting feature in this watch, but I'm not really planning on using it just because sometimes I just don't see it working for something like push-ups, for example, where your wrist is still. It doesn't make sense. So, and also, how hard is it to count up to 10 reps? Maybe it's to track if you can do increasing reps, but if you switch up weights, then that changes. I'm not quite sure how that feature works or how to use it accurately to give you data that actually is useful, but there's that feature. So it is what it is. Anyways, I'll continue using this, give maybe a longer or more in-depth review after having used it for a bit, but those are my initial thoughts. I'm excited. The dimness still is bothering me, but I just actually really like how dim it is, because I would rather not be able to see it than see it too much, if that makes sense. So yeah, with that said, au revoir. Well, I'm just about to start editing this video, but I really wanted to add this part to the end of the video that I make. So I've been wearing the watch for about a month approximately now, and the situation is quite different from the initial experiment, if you will. I do not wear it at night anymore. I wore it a few times at night, which means I wore the watch pretty much 24/7, and my skin hated it. Like, absolutely loathed it. The amount of times I woke up at night scratching, until one really bad night, it was ridiculous. So after that really bad night, I woke up, was really upset, to be honest, and I decided I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not trying to make this work. I'm willing to give up the sleep data. I refuse to scratch anymore at night because of this watch. So I don't wear it at night anymore, and instead of trying to wear it first thing in the morning until like to the last thing at night, now I put on the watch approximately midday when I really start moving and really start getting steps in. I just find that I really need to let my skin dry before putting anything on it. My skin hates having anything on it if it hasn't fully dried from the cream that I put on. So I wear the watch about midday when I actually start moving. And yes, the data might not be 100% accurate at that point, but it's some sort of indication of how I'm moving throughout the day, and that's good enough for what I'm looking to do. Anywho, my final thoughts still stand. I like the watch, and so on and so forth. So yeah, thank you.